Hello, everybody. Rokelle Lerner here. Tony Robbins once said that the quality of your life is directly related to the amount of uncertainty that you can comfortably live with. But the truth is, when it comes to any of our kids in the darkness of addiction, we not only live with uncertainty, we live with anguish and anger, and we're scared to death. I remember one family program where a father was so filled with anger at his daughter that he could barely look at her. We asked him to write a letter, not to his daughter, but a letter to addiction. And although he balked, this is what he wrote. Dear addiction, screw you. You are trying to kill my daughter. You are trying to steal her future. You have turned her into a liar and a manipulator. You're trying to destroy my marriage and my family, and I hate you with a vengeance. But there is an antidote, and that antidote is called sobriety. I pray that my daughter will beat you. I pray that she'll become the woman she was destined to be. Your eternal enemy. And he signed his name. This was a liberating moment for this parent. The father began to see so much more clearly that his daughter wasn't evil. She had a horrendous disease. And the symptoms of this disease include lying, manipulation, anger, poor choices, risky behavior, and understanding the symptoms gave him insight and to say to himself when his daughter was nasty and unreasonable, this is addiction talking. This is not my daughter. You know, as parents, we have dreams and goals and desires for our children. And when we witness the demise of these dreams, the grief and the anger is overwhelming. We have no control and we find ourselves stuck. And when this happens, we either become over-controlling or we deny, we avoid, or we abandon. Now, don't get me wrong. I realize that sometimes as parents, we need to protect ourselves from the hurt and pain by putting up healthy boundaries. But interestingly enough, my experience is that once a family member is in treatment, many parents either want to manage the treatment or wash their hands of their child. You take her now. And of course, this is done out of hurt and frustration. But there is an alternative. And that alternative is called detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that you give up or abandon your child. It means that you still care deeply, but from a place of realistic perspective. Detachment is the fuel that parents need to take care of themselves. And it's not an easy skill to develop. It means that you need to get help for yourself and process the anger, the grief, the loss of dreams you have for your son or daughter. Now, I know it's unnatural for parents to detach from their kids, let alone their kids' negative behaviors, but it is essential for self-preservation and for changing the dynamics in the family. It takes practice, support, and guidance to learn how to unemotionally respond in the moments to the nasty ways that this disease manifests itself. Again, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, quite the opposite. You still show up, you're still the parent, but you are realistic about addiction and what it takes to recover. You maintain your boundaries, you stop enabling, and if your child is in treatment, you allow the experienced and trained clinicians to manage that treatment. It's a slow road. The important thing to realize is that you and your families have been through hell. You've been traumatized by the ravages of your child's addiction. So the most loving thing you can do is to get help for yourself and your family members. And parent groups, counselors, 12-step programs are indispensable as resources for developing this critical skill. And for those of you who are wondering, where did I go wrong as a parent? For those of you who are filled with guilt or shame, I want to end with this anonymous poem, and it's called Adam and Eve. And it goes like this. Whenever you're out of control, take comfort. Even God's omnipotence did not extend to his kids. After creating heaven and earth, God created Adam and Eve. And the first thing God said was, don't. Don't what? Said the kids. Well, don't eat the forbidden fruit. Where is it? It's over there, said God, wondering why he hadn't stopped after making the elephants. A few minutes later, God saw the kids having an apple break. Didn't I tell you not to eat the fruit? The first parent said. Uh-huh, Adam replied. Well, then why did you? I don't know, said Adam. God's punishment was that Adam and Eve should have children of their own. And thus, the pattern was set and has never changed. But there is reassurance in this story if you have lovingly and persistently tried to give your children wisdom, and they haven't taken it. Don't be too hard on yourself. If God had trouble handling children, why should it be a piece of cake for you? Ladies and gentlemen, when we have experienced trauma, our sense of humor and our spirituality are the first things to go and the last things to come back. Realistic perspective and detachment is what we need. Please be gentle with yourselves. Until next time.